Yeah, well, always grateful for you guys being here and excited to be here, ready to go to practice today. It's my favorite days. And, I think we're coming off two hard-fought games. I liked the way we progressed from the weekend prior to this weekend. We had a great chat after the game, that it's okay to be disappointed because we did come up short in both games, but not discouraged. And so we want to continue to be a team that can see growth. And when we don't see it, then we're obviously disappointed in those error repeating moments. I think the starts of our games were one of those times where like that's something that we needed to get fixed by our next game. We weren't able to fix, and challenges us in this week to be better and more efficient on the offensive end. But I like the way we closed and the way we saw it as an growth from the previous weekend and areas to be excited about, and then understanding the areas we need to improve in. So excited for today.
Anything that you're seeing in those starts?
Yeah, very much, a lot. Too much film. I think just the way that we come out and play tempo-wise, the mindset that we have the first even 10 minutes, almost an entire quarter, where we are passive. We're running an offense instead of being in attack mode. And I think they're all very fixable, understanding, how to put the defense in a position where we can get, in a more aggressive state, I think, is important for this week.
So it's more mentality, the personnel, the team.
I'd say that, yeah, sometimes. I mean, the way we've come into both games, I think both games, our mindset was, in a good place. It hurts us in a sense. So I'll explain more. Like in Stanford, I think we wanted to do the right thing, to the point that it made us timid, and pass oriented. And the same thing in Cal. We wanted to grow from Stanford, but we were still, playing in a way that was to not make mistakes in a sense, and just run a system. And there needs to be more of an attack mindset in those times. And then why does it change for us? I think we get into that place where it's like, okay, we're down, we got to attack. And then we play freely and kind of in that mindset. So we've got to do that from the beginning, I think.
I know coming in here, you've got a process of building the program, kind of a big picture question.
Mm-hmm.
Getting this program to where you want it,
Mm-hmm.
It's one foot in front of the other. How far along in that process are you to really having everything that you really need to really be what you want?
I mean, we're playing every night against the best of the best teams in the country, and we're right there. And so that's pretty exciting in a short period of time. When you look at some of the teams, like we've just come off of Colorado and Utah, and the time it took their programs to build, and where we are right now is exciting. And so I think that we see a young team that's hungry. We learned from a weekend that was very difficult against the top, some of the top teams in the country in Utah and Colorado, and then we came out and played differently against Stanford. So not discouraged, encouraged, fighting, learning. So as a coach, it's really exciting. I got an opportunity to see some of them yesterday as they were coming through the gym, and great questions, excited to see film. It's what you want in a culture change and in a culture that's building. And so I'm encouraged and excited for where we are.
Yeah, it just seems like you're
Yeah.
so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that discouraging, or is that hopeful, and how do you balance that
Mm-hmm.
from not allowing them to get discouraged to keep them going forward with a positive attitude?
Yeah, I think that's our job. It's a really hard job when you're a team that really wants things for each other. They love each other. Yesterday I had a young player concerned about, our upperclassmen wanting to do well for them, and that's just their heart. And so, but when your heart is for other people, you're not often discouraged. I think discouragement comes when we get too self-focused, and so we're worried about how we're playing, and we're not playing well, and then, it's easier to fight for other people in life, I think. And so I think, but again, it's our job to make sure that they see their growth, and that we can celebrate along the way the progress that we make, because results can start getting heavy if we get results focused. But the closeness of the games and the way we've progressed are wins in themselves at times.
Everyone, we're just
Sure.
building this program, when you're out on the recruiting trail? Have eyes been open to what you're actually doing here?
You know, I think we have a great relationship with the people that we are hoping to bring into our program in the future. I think that the culture is something that really speaks to people. You know, I think that the style of basketball is fun. You can see, again, growth of a young team competing against the best of the best. And so I think it's a very exciting time.
You know, in those close games, I want to say at the beginning of the year, you guys were like 4-0. Like all of those four close games, you were able to like win them. And you've had a few sort of close ones. It's always that thin line between sort of what's been the difference early in the year that you're able to win those close games in this past week, I guess.
I think multiple things. I think God, obviously, we got to give the credit to the people that we're playing, and I think we're playing elite teams that also execute and understand their systems and have a lot of experience and depth. And I think that we also are getting better in late games. Like if you see the end of our Stanford game and even the end of our Cal, there's a lot of fight and execution in those moments. So really it's the execution in the beginning of the game and in the middle of the game that kind of gets us sometimes at the end of the game. It puts a lot of pressure on the last few plays, which we handled that pressure fairly well. But we are climbing out of a hole these last two games that we can control. We'll also look back and see just simple scout moments where, you know, we would help off a person we shouldn't have helped off of, or switch off a person we weren't supposed to switch off of, that are completely within our control. And as we have more experience in scouting, I think we can clean up. And that's, again, really exciting as we move forward.
And I know that you're not necessarily results driven. But it's kind of rare to have a 4-game homestand.
Yeah.
Any sort of, you know, that you weren't able to squeeze more out of this one, because they don't come around like a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, I was reflecting on that yesterday, and, you know, we got 4 home games. We had incredible crowds. I mean, really, really grateful to the community for the way they came out and supported and made the environment, you know, so special. Really helped us into games, especially brought us back into some games with enthusiasm. And so you want to do great for your community, your alumni, your university. And I loved our fight as we continued into that second weekend. Obviously, we were very disappointed in one of our games. I didn't think that was there, and like the character of how we responded to that. You know, the wins and the losses, we're playing the top 10 teams in the country in 3 of those games, and so we're really battling and there for a couple of those, and you want to get one or 2 of those if you can, but we weren't able to do it. And in the end, you do have to earn the win. And so it's on us to, that's why I think the disappointment comes in, but discouragement can happen because it was in our hands to have a chance to execute just a little bit better and change that outcome. And so we'll learn a lot from it, take a lot of accountability in not being able to win in front of our fans and community, and want to do better for them too going forward.
You probably won't use this term, and that's fine. No, but as you take a look at these next 3 games and the schedule gets easier, if you will, are you thinking that these are kind of must-win games if you want to do the things that you would like to do at the end of the season?
I think that they are continued must-grow games. Like, we have to continue to show growth in our offensive performance. We have to continue to show growth in our ability to scout and execute that scout. And then I think the results follow from that. So, but it is the time of the year that the growth has to happen in those areas for us to continue to progress the way we would like to as a team and become the best team we can be.
Every season is different. It was kind of like this time last year where you guys were able to kind of hit that sort of, you know, here we go. And are you, anything that this group can take from that, like, at least we did do it before, and we kind of know what that feels like.
Well
but
said.
now it kind of feels like time to get that going.
Yeah, very much. I mean, I think that as you get used to yourself and your system and your teammates, and you understand we're getting to play some teams for a second time now, We should understand their scouts a little bit better. It's an opportunity for us, and what should be a strength of our program is, the knowledge of the game and the way that we play the game with IQ and togetherness. I think as we go forward should show kind of like it did last season. Last season we had 6 seniors on our team, and toward the end of the season there's an urgency there. But you should have that urgency for your teammates at all times, not just when you're nearing the end of your career. And I felt that this past weekend. I felt the urgency to improve and to be better for each other. And I have a feeling I'll feel that very strongly at practice today.
You guys obviously played Arizona State before.
Yes.
A close game. Jordan had a big game. 30-something.
Yes, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was like Jordan that day.
So,
So-
right?
Yeah.
What was it about that game, and particularly her, that you may need to sort of
Yeah.
focus on?
Yeah, really, really talented player. Her and Jaden Simmons both got to the free throw line at elite level. They both, I think we gave up 15 points at the free throw line to them, if I'm not mistaken. It was a bit ago. We didn't do a great job of guarding dribble penetration. We didn't do a great job of our help and just basic defensive principles. And I think that's something that we can see on film and be better at this time around.
I played a golf course where there's a 3-hole stretch, and we call it the gauntlet, because it is really hard, and it really tests you.
Mhm.
And sometimes you get through it and go, I don't know how I did that. Does that feel sometimes like, going through part of the season that you're going through it? It's hard, but it makes you better.
I think that's the Pac-12. And I think that's why we all came to it. It's a conference that is, the best of the best players, coaches, competition every night. And it's something that's exciting. And so I don't know that while there's the ranked stretch and things like that, there's never a time that you think, oh, this game, is not going to be as difficult. And so I think that that's fun. I mean, one of our players said after the last game, like, I would rather play in this environment against this team than anything else. Like that's what you want. You want to play the best of the best. I don't want anyone sick, injured, anything. I want to go out there and we want to be our best, and we want them to be their best, and that's competition, and that's fun.
And just strictly just in terms of your record, and I know basketball is way more than that. You started 11 now, past 12 games, you're 2-10.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing the growth, or are you seeing some mistakes being happened?
Yeah, we had some letdowns. I think there was some, we talked about it after the Colorado game, out of character moments that were, areas where we had to make improvements fast. Again, why we can say we saw growth was the very next game. We returned to our identity. We play well on the defensive end of the floor, execute pretty well offensively for about, 3/4 of the game, and continue to show that growth. And I think the hard part of, trying to explain when you see growth after losses is we get an opportunity to sit with them, watch film, talk about the details of a game, and we know where we needed to improve, and the things that we improved on, we know where we needed to improve and we didn't. And so we continue to do that every day. That is the process. And sometimes it will result in a win and sometimes it won't. But it has to result in growth, or there has been a loss, And so that's what we're evaluating right now.
And then despite the skid, you're still 49 in the net. And it feels like if you go on a run that everything is still right there.
That's right.
Do you kind of hold that carrot, or again, I know that you don't like to,
Yeah.
take too,
It's such a good question because we want to be a team that's fighting for postseason, that understand how it works. We want to make sure our team understands the position that we're in because we do compete to win. So we don't want to take that away. We also, want to understand where we are, where we need to be better, who we're playing against, and how that it does affect things like the net and the opportunities that we have. This is a team that has shown its ability to compete against the very best in the country. And we want to continue to make that climb and make that point each and every night.
And is it kind of, I don't know, remarkable, or it says something about this conference that, a team could be just a few games above 500 and yet still be right there.
Yeah, it does. It's just a compliment to the players and the coaches and the conference itself. And this has been a conference that's been so well respected in women's basketball for so many years. It's what attracted us all to come. And, it's an honor to compete in, like, our team said last night. And we believe we belong in that conversation. And so we're excited for the opportunity.
I think I asked you this at the beginning of the season, but as you play these teams that you won't be playing again, any more thoughts about, keeping these series going, what that
Oh,
may
yeah.
look like, and just any of that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've already started talking to coaches, and so, there's opportunities for us to play people in our non-conference. I think all of us are talking to each other, so, who and when is probably out there right now. But very grateful for the relationships we have with the coaches in this league and the opportunity to continue those partnerships.
So you could see UW, Arizona State, sort of. What might that look like? Would that be?
Yeah, any of them. I mean, we've talked about tournaments with some of them. So like, we would come down and maybe we play them, maybe we don't, based on how many we've already played with other teams in the league. And then some would be home and home. So, we've already talked to, I think, 3 teams in the conference already. So hopefully we can continue some of these series.
And then just related to this, just your thoughts on the Caitlin Clark pursuing
Oh, yeah.
the NCAA, and just what kind of all of that sort of says for her and college basketball where it's at right now.
Yeah, I love to see people excel that have, given everything that they have to something. And so I think that it seems to me that her work ethic and her drive and her passion for the game of basketball is something to be that we want young women to aspire to and look to. And so the attention that she's getting is so well earned and deserved, and great for her, for the game, for young women and men that watch to learn what it looks like to want to be the very best and to work for it. And so a great example.
Yeah, is it crazy that they've sold out every game in 2 years now?
Yeah, it's so great for her university and for her program and women's basketball, and brings an excitement to the game, and much like Kelsey did for Washington, and still does. We still talk about Kelsey, her work ethic, all she's done for UW, for women's basketball, the example she still sets. And so to have more people like that out there that just set the example for the young basketball players, I think is really beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you both.